finally back. Yeah, a round of applause, finally. Last week's podcast was a big hit and a success. We can't thank everyone enough for your continued support for our podcast show. We have enough people to have a special guest or two for the next several episodes leading all the way to the end of February. So thank you guys so very much for making this a big deal and trying to get this the go-to local podcast. We have a lot of things to discuss today. Some of the things we'll be talking about include we have an interview with Hunter. He does a lot of woodwork, and actually I personally go to him for all my go-to stuff for Capel and co-production. So if you guys need some go-to stuff, we have an interview with Hunter. We also have DubVEatz. If you're not familiar, they are like DoorDash. They are a delivery service up here that's local. They're super, super awesome, and we're going to be cutting to an interview to them later on. We're also going to be talking about events to do around here, things we would like to see in the future, stuff that we want up here, or, general ideas of what could potentially be up here, whether it's in Charlestown, Martinsburg, just the local DMV area, no more than a 30-minute drive. And then the different types of customers or people that are up here that, do business with us. And then I have a little story time. Yes, we are bringing back Dope as That was a great segment, so we are going to be doing it again, which features a trivia game we're going to be doing, and Jason is going to be talking about a pre-release for our Magic set coming out, and he's going to give you more information and more details on that at the end of the podcast. So, with that being said, we're going to get started with an interview from Hunter. Hi, we are back with Capel and Cast. I am Patricia doing an interview with Hunter from
Demers Handyman Services, LLC, located here in Harpers Ferry in Charlestown, West Virginia.
And today we're going to be discussing a lot of fun and exciting things about being a small business owner and what Hunter does for a living. So Hunter, why don't you take it away, tell everybody who you are, what you do, and give a little bit of background about your business.
Alright, so my name's Hunter Demers. I recently founded Demers Handyman Services about 6 months ago. We're coming up on a half a year. I've been in the trades my whole life. I've done 7 years in the industry, and I still currently work a full-time job in the industry, and I do this on the part-time to hopefully eventually make it a full-time business. We offer general handyman services. I am not a contractor. I can't do any sort of large jobs, but I can certainly help people with small repairs.
So what are some go-to services that most people, whether it's family, friends, new clients, what are some go-to services that you do?
So I've done a various amount of things. Here recently, it's been a lot of screen doors. I've hung tons of shelves. I've done it for Patricia here. A lot of people may not know we're closer friends than
what the interview was putting out. I'm going to cut you off really quick. So fun fact, Hunter actually built, if anybody's been in the studio before or gotten pictures done, that big, huge prop set that has the swinging door.
Yep.
Hunter built that. It's under some repairs and maintenance because a couple of the cast from Capel and Cast kind of did things they weren't supposed to be doing. But he also put shelves into the new studio that we had just moved in and, unfortunately moving out of. But he put shelves up in the bathroom and the kitchen because there was not a lot of space. And I am so very grateful for that because we were able to stock it up and not even need to get like a big like shelf like storage unit or anything like that for food because he just did it like within a span of an hour. So.
Yep. So stuff like that is what I do. I've done a lot of sink repairs, minor plumbing repairs, the general scope of everything. I think later we'll cover in the interview, the electrical work is a whole nother ball game that I'm working on, and we'll talk about that later. But that's the general idea of what I do. I've hung TVs, I've done a little bit of concrete repair work outside, I've done painting, carpentry, finishery, trim work, anything you can name of that's smaller, within the smaller scope of things. You just need someone to come in and do a little bit of repair work for you. That's kind of the job I'm trying to do and the service I'm trying to offer. Make it convenient for people to get some things done throughout their house.
Right. I'm going to reword this. Do you have any like upcoming plans? Do you have any like I'm sure you have future goals, but what is something that you could tell everybody, the people who watch our podcast, something that's happening with your handyman service?
Okay, so electrical. So I've been working, as I said, in the industry for 7 years in manufacturing plants working on heavy machinery. I actually hold a degree from Blue Ridge in mechatronics, so it's mechanical and electrical engineering. So I have diverse experience in both aspects of the world. Unfortunately, when you run a home repair business, there's different regulations involved with that encourage you having to have certifications.
Right.
Now, I am certified electrically to work in an industry and everything like that. So fortunately for me, I've been able to apply for my electrical licensing tests, and I'm sitting in March to go sit for my journeyman electrical exam, which would then allow me to do electrical work. So that is an expansion that I'm working on this year to try and hopefully grow the business from an electrical standpoint. And a little something that I kind of want to add in there too is, part of the goals of my business is I put Handyman purposely in my name. A lot of guys deter from it because Handyman is kind of given a bad rap, unfortunately, from Facebook. You get a lot of guys that go throw tools in their trucks and do things, and it's not licensed or anything like that. I put it in there because I want to change the vision of what a handyman is. I want people to see a handyman as a handy person that is a qualified person to do work within a small realm. There's so many big jobs out there nowadays that contractors are not able to take the time and come in and hang pictures for somebody who may not have a husband or a significant other that can do things for you. Anybody that just doesn't have the motor skills or doesn't want to buy tools. Tools are expensive. They're extremely expensive. And I've had numerous occasions, guys just saying, I just don't have the tools and I don't really feel like buying them. It's just a small job. Yeah. So a little bit of the thing I'm trying to do is bring a vision to people of what a handyman can actually be and what the service is supposed to be like. And we're in such a need of qualified professional people that do professional quality work. The industry is dying, unfortunately, from that standpoint, but it's a great opportunity for people in age I'm at currently to step forward, take pride in their work, and treat it as an art form. I love to leave with the dopamine kick of my customers being happy. That is my goal, and anytime I can, I'm going to try to do everything I can within my realm to help.
Right. And see, this is why I always go to Hunter for I have a long list of things I need to give him, but this is why I always go to Hunter, because you can go to anybody. You can go and you can get service through anyone, but I don't think anybody's going to take the time and the effort and the energy to make sure everything is done right, perfected to a T. Yep. You have people that'll come in and overcharge you and then rush through the work, yep. or overcharge you and you get something completely fixed that didn't even need to be fixed. But the thing I like about Hunter the most is that he's truthful and he's honest about his work and his job, and fair with his pricing as well. It's not too high, it's not lowballing himself. I think it's more than fair with what he charges, and this is just why I go to him for all my go-to stuff. But advertising down here, you're a small business, yep. You're new, you're just like me, yep. We're not super big. How do you feel about the advertisement down here? Now, before you do answer that question, yep. I'm not just speaking on advertisement as far as you have to have a business, like a full-on storefront downtown.
Like a brick and mortar.
Yeah, like a brick and mortar. Yep. However, if you are local, you have people that are coming to you, you can list me more than 5 clients that come to you regularly, which I know you can. That makes you a small business down here. So yep. How do you feel being a small business, knowing the struggle with the advertisement down here?
So for me, it's a little bit different than storefronts and everything like that. I actually come from a whole different side of things, and my world is so online. For me, I've had to get, a website is a huge thing for me as far as advertising goes,
right.
Because, this area is not huge on the advertising front. My biggest thing I try to do is, push out as many business cards as I can, especially the clients that right. I'm working with. But if we're keeping this on the scope of, the problems we have in the town,
right.
It's kind of hard for me to be able to speak on that front because a lot of my work is a word of mouth type of deal.
Yeah.
So.
Now, before you finish, I just thought of something you said word of mouth. Now, because, especially word of mouth is the biggest thing that helps small businesses get out there. How do you feel, since everything is word of mouth, do you feel like there should be a little bit more push for people who are kind of on that outskirts of everything? So for example, I know a couple of the people down here, who do advertisement, who this, that, and the other,
yep.
have connections.
Yep.
Now, there's individuals who just started or switched that may not know that. Do you feel like there should be an easier way for you to get your business out there, so that way it can make it a lot easier for you in the long run to be a brick and mortar?
Absolutely. Yeah, I do think that there could be a better push to reach out to people who own business licenses in this town.
Right.
I mean, we all know, you have to have a West Virginia state license, and when you're working in municipalities, you have to have a municipality license as well. So those municipalities have a list of business owners that are financially funding
Right.
the city. Okay, so if they want to give us the ability to grow the city and help the city with our tax dollars that we pay, they should help us try to get our advertising and our push out.
Thank you.
I haven't been doing it for very long, so I'm not throwing any shade or anything like that at nobody. This is all just my, again, opinions. But from my standpoint, there's nothing out there when I go on my business sites that are the state business sites that says, hey, we got this going on. Something I would love to see is, trade show or like something around here that deals with construction work and everything like that. Because there's so much construction going on in this area. But you don't know
how to get involved in that at all.
You don't. Yeah. And unfortunately, a lot of our construction work that happens here is subcontracted from Virginia.
Right.
But again, that's why I'm breaking into the industry as a handyman type service.
That's a great idea, actually, because I didn't even think this is why I like doing this, because I didn't even think about it that way. That you have all these construction sites, but you don't really know how to go about being a construction worker or being a part of that.
And again, one of my big pushes with doing this too is like eventually this is, every business owner has a 5, 10, 20, 30-year plan. Part of my long term, if the money's right and everything like that, is I would love to sponsor kid workshops. For kids to be able to be involved and get their hands on tools and understanding tools in a safe and effective manner.
And you know what, that's another thing, like something I wish I would have learned in school, because you have like wood shop class, but you don't have anything for like taxes or, that's what I'm saying, you don't have anything for like taxes or anything like that, but like you just said, over the time and when we get older, they kind of take away things like that, and I feel like having workshops or somebody who will take the time to teach a child how to do these things, because these are very adult qualities and adult tasks that a lot of people don't know how to do, or even like, this is kind of going off topic, but changing a tire. You know how many women don't know how to change a tire, or even men, it's not just a woman thing, but there's a lot of people who do not know how to change a tire, and how many times are there cars on the side of the road, or your tire has popped, or you've had, God forbid, a nail or something, and you don't know how to change your tire, and you gotta wait for AAA or whomever to come help you. So I just think that like having workshops like this, especially for like your service and you having a goal like that, that's pretty awesome. Is there anything, Hunter, that you want, our audience to know, your clients to know, your family and friends, or us to know?
I mean, just the support that I've been getting has been unreal from, my wife has been such a huge support. I work 40 hours a week at a day job, and I pull almost 30 hours a week on my own business, and I work from 2:30 until 1 in the morning for my day job, and then I wake up at 8 o'clock every morning, and 8, 9 o'clock depending, and try to just hash out as much advertising work. And you're paying for insurance roped into that, and the quality of work that comes with it, the guarantees, the everything that comes into that. I've been called. Unfortunately, this industry has materials that don't necessarily work in your favor either, and there's situations where I'll get called back. It may not have been a craftsmanship issue, but it's something that just failed, and I got to come back. Roped into that price is me not recharging for the revisit and being on call and being there. So it gives peace of mind when you're covered and I'm covered, and you're going through a person. I'm not just somebody who's on Facebook blasting out messages saying, I'll just come do this for you, and not come back or not finish the job once you hand me a check. My customers have been so great to me. I've been handed checks before jobs are done on pretty much all occasions, just from the trust level that we talk about. I take into account when I run estimates, I'm spending about an hour to an hour and a half and generally trying to explain what's going to get done, and that way we're all on the same page when that day comes. And so getting off that tangent, going back into thanking the people that have been supporting me. I started a business a year ago, running a woodworking business. That's how I ended up doing the prop set for Patricia here. And I just want to shout Patricia out huge, because she's been a huge part of me growing a business, from a heart standpoint. Like, when I met Patricia is best friends with my wife, and
it's about best.
So I met Patricia through my wife, and she came up to the house, and just her motivation for running a business and caring about the community and everything like that. And I've always wanted to dabble in a business. Without getting long-winded, my dad passed away in 2018, and I always remember him on the weekends just trying to figure out how he could franchise something, to do something and run a business. He always wanted to be a businessman, from a standpoint of, local. Just could never make it happen. So the reason Demers is in the name is because I cherish, what he was trying to do. But anyway, through that, running a business is hard. Getting off the ground is hard. But Patricia showed me it can be done, and gave me the drive to do it. And I've picked her brain so many times on so many levels about it. And
yeah, we've had serious conversations.
Absolutely serious conversations about business. It's actually funny. She'll come up to hang out with my wife, and we end up talking
about business.
Yeah. So
like, did you get your business license yet? Did you do this?
It's such a blessing to have people like her around, and we're in the same boat. She's been doing it longer than I have, but I feel like we've accelerated each other through the business.
Absolutely.
And then my mother, she, without, the unfortunate circumstance of my father passing and the house not being finished, without that, I would never have gotten my hands as dirty as I did.
Right.
So my mother has been such a huge support to me, and I couldn't thank her enough. I actually sent her a very nice message the other day because I had a really rough day between the business, dealing with clients, not so easy sometimes, and I just went over to her house and vented for like an hour and a half, and she just sat and listened and gave me all these great advice and said, just keep doing it, you got something going for you.
Absolutely.
And I can't thank that enough. And even anybody out there, support small businesses. We're trying hard out here to keep things going. Your small business is keeping towns running. The corporations, they help, but the small businesses are what keep the life going,
Absolutely.
The lifeblood around here, and the communications going on around here. So that's the gist of pretty much what I have to say. Just any dreams you may have, go for it. Don't let anybody, don't let social media, don't let anything that gets said. That's all what they want to say. Don't let that ever get you down. If you truly believe in yourself, you can make anything happen.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, one, thank you to Hunter. Him and his wife are really, really fantastic people, and there's somebody I can always count on and go to. And they have seen me at my worst when it comes to the whole business thing. I have been extremely, extremely upset. I have panicked, but something that was said by Renell in the last podcast episode is you have to have a great support system, and my support system does lack a lot, which is why it was so emotionally hard for me to run this business and keep it open. But one thing I can say is that Hunter and his wife have always been encouraging. They may not have always been at every little event, but they're liking, they're sharing, they mention it. They'll be the first people to mention it before I even say anything. They're like, oh hey, yeah, I saw you, you're gonna do this or you're gonna do that. And they're always one of the first people I go to and tell, other than my assistant manager Emily, and she's a great person as well. But they are always the first people I go to tell things, because they're just such great people. And I get all my handyman services. If I need something, I'm like, Hunter knows how to do it. So go check out Hunter's Facebook page. You want to give your socials to everybody?
Yeah. So I have Demers Handyman Service LLC on Facebook. I actually recently just put a website out, demershandyman.com. My phone number is 540-446-2980. You can call or text that number. However, a lot of times I'm really busy and can't answer a phone call. I'm with a client or I'm working and I don't want to answer a call in front of a client. So texting is the absolute best way to get a hold of me. Email is great too. That's the gist of all my socials. I don't have any Instagrams or anything like that yet. I'm starting small, trying to keep everything manageable within my time frames, but eventually expansion will happen. It just takes time. Keep supporting small business.
And because Hunter is still getting his name out there, if you guys have any ways of helping Hunter or any advice or any suggestions, please put it in the comments down below, or send Capel and Cast a message, and I'd be more than happy to send it his way. Just like with myself and everybody else we've been interviewing the past couple of times, we're all super, super small. We're not a big brick and mortar. I was fortunate enough to have a big studio, but that was extremely hard and extremely stressful, and here we are moving again. So go ahead and put it down below in the comments. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I think I covered everything.
Okay, I'm Patricia, this is Hunter, and thank you for watching Capel and Cast. And we are back. I hope you guys enjoyed Hunter's interview. Again, I go to Hunter for everything, so please check him out if you guys need any handyman services done locally. He is affordable, his pricing is very fair, and he'll take really, really good care of you. Now we're going to talk about things that we would like to see up here in the local area, specifically Charlestown, because if you're from this area, you know there's really not much to do. And then something that we used to have, or you know things we used to have that got torn down would be like we used to have a bowling alley, we used to have a theater. There's just a lot of things that kind of got ripped away and taken away, and now we're talking about things we would like to see back. So what are some things that you know we could have potentially back here? Okay, I'll start. Like a movie theater. For one, we had one in Martinsburg. So how do you guys feel like about a movie theater, having a movie theater up here?
Well, there was one in the works. Like they were talking about doing it right next to Chick-fil-A. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I heard. Well, I don't know if you heard, but I just know maybe a couple years ago, I heard they wanted to put one there, and I don't know what happened. I guess they didn't want to fund it anymore. I don't know.
Well, I think it's because Ranson and Charlestown. Well, Charlestown, they were originally going to pay Charlestown for it, and then Ranson was like, "Oh, well, we want to cut too."
Right.
Yeah.
I think it was something like that.
But they also mentioned there was that, and then they were also talking about putting. This could be totally wrong, and I could be making this up, but I thought I heard somebody say they were gonna try putting a bowling alley or something over there.
It was between a movie theater
or a
and
shopping center, maybe.
I know the bowling alley was one that was also going to probably go next to Chick-fil-A, but...
The thing is that we had a bowling alley where, we briefly talked about this the last podcast, we had a bowling alley in
right where the fireworks store is.
Yeah, where the Waffle House is now. And that's funny because Waffle House wasn't even there originally, and we didn't have that fireworks store, and then that building was empty for years, and then I just randomly noticed there was a fireworks store, which is cool. Because, you know, yay, fireworks, but...
I don't want them.
Yeah.
I only want them on 4th of July. Why do we need one all year round?
Or maybe the New Year, because my boyfriend and I went to a New Year's Eve party, and that was pretty great to end the night with fireworks. So it's like, yeah, fireworks are great for a special occasion, but do we necessarily need an entire fireworks store in the middle of Charlestown? No shade to the owners of the fireworks store, in case they're watching this podcast. I don't know. Anything else you guys can think outside the box that, like, think about other places, like if you go to Loudoun County. Loudoun County is very rich. They have a lot of different things. You never have to worry about eating at the same restaurant more than one time in a week, sometimes 2 weeks. So what are some things that, like, you've seen elsewhere in other cities or towns that you think that our town should have? Other than like a mall, like I feel like a mall's a given, because we have to go out of state to go to the closest mall to us is either in Maryland or Virginia. If you go to Leesburg, you go to Leesburg Outlets, or you go to Hagerstown. But or if you go to Charleston and go to the mall in Charleston, there's a mall there, or Morgantown maybe, but that's still a several hour drive.
Yeah. DC, Texas.
DC's about an hour and a half.
Yeah, DC. But at Tyson's Corner, but that's the point. You have to drive an hour. Leesburg is like 45 minutes. Or 35 on a good day.
The Hagerstown one, I'm up there all the time, and I'm always seeing like the shops change and all that. But it's still like 40-minute drive if you take the back ways. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like we should have an arcade up here.
That would be, but yeah, because there's one in Hagerstown.
Because it would do really good in Shepherdstown, I think.
Yeah, arcade in Shepherdstown, or somewhere local. It doesn't have to necessarily be Charlestown per se, because Shepherdstown's only 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm. I live in Shepherdstown, and Shepherd University has like a bowling alley and like all that stuff on their campus. I think you can go and like use it or whatever, but it would be nice to have like a spot just for that.
Like a hangout spot other than Waffle House.
And
or like, I don't know, Walmart. Yeah, you can't even, Walmart's not even the hangout spot up here anymore because they're not even open 24 hours.
Yep.
I missed that.
Put in the comments down below if you'd like to see me, Jason, and Emily try to stay the night in Walmart 24 hours. Well, after hours. Yes, I just threw Jason under the bus and he didn't know about this.
No, we talked about it. I don't know.
taking a lot of stuff from Wall.
Brought up a good point about.
They can have and like an arcade for kids like down below, but then upstairs it could be like a bar,
rooftop bar or something
with adult activities. I don't know.
Because I went to like a man cave, cool. I went to DC for my birthday last year, and I went to a rooftop bar, and it was so cool. Now it was very bougie, I'm not gonna lie, but it was cool because there was like an in-ground pool, there was a whole bar, there was fire pits, luxury couches, cabanas, all this stuff overlooking the city in DC, and that's only like an hour and a half away. And then you come to Charlestown, and we just yeah, and I mean I get it. I'm not trying to again, because one of the things we talked about last week was that we're not really shooting for the big city life. However, we are trying to make it more city-like, and we are trying to make things a little bit better around here, not be so out of date. But Charlestown's very, very out of date. Like, if you look at it compared to other places, the fact that we just got a Popeyes, or the fact that we just got and when I mean just, I'm talking about within the past 4 years. That's still very, very recent. But we just got a Waffle House. I have never been to Waffle House. Why? Because I've lived here my entire life, and then it wasn't until we got a Waffle House up here, and I was like, hey.
It's a 3 a.m. spot.
Yeah.
We need a Denny's.
A Denny's.
Denny's. That's good.
I don't know about you, but I'm a big sports person, and I used to play soccer here in Charlestown.
Weird flex, but okay.
Okay, whoa, sorry. But I think they shut down the soccer fields, and I think they should bring them back, because a lot of people I think around here do play soccer, and
that is, you know what? That's a good point. I went to Columbia, Maryland, for somebody who played
indoor.
No. They was outdoor. They're on like a team or whatever for adults in Maryland, and they have this big local soccer arena that anybody had access to go to practices for. And why don't we have something like that? Like, yeah, we have Sam Michaels Park, but like we don't have a field or anything that like you can just go out. It's already set up. It's treated.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, because I played over the weekend, and
like turf or something where you can go on. Or
I mean, if you really are willing to drive to Frederick, they have an indoor like with turf and everything. I used to play there as well, but around here there's not much. I mean, there is, but it's like it's a seasonal thing. But like if you're not in the soccer season and you want to shoot, where do you shoot at?
Right, that is true.
And, that's just
What were you going to say, Jason?
I was going to say the football field by Wise.
Oh,
They could just put some goals up on.
Oh, that
is true.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, but are you talking about all that empty space next to Coles?
It's behind it.
It's behind it?
There's like a football field
It's
back
like
there.
near Lido's, right?
Yeah,
Lido's.
like behind Wise and all that. I used to play Pee Wee or whatever, Little League, whatever they
Little
call
League,
it when you're a child.
Back when he used to know sports.
Yeah.
But here's the funny thing though. So I'm gonna bring up something that's along the same topic. So I'm all up for free advertisement, but the way that free advertisement here works is you gotta obviously fill out everything, give us permission or whatever. However, I am gonna shout out somebody who didn't ask to be on the podcast or anything, but something that I do love up here is River Riders. And it's because if you're an outdoorsy person, they have so much stuff to do at River. Zip lining, tubing.
Yeah, they just came out with the snow.
They just came out with okay, so here's my opinion on that. I like that idea with the whole, you can go snow tubing or whatever, whenever. That's such a great idea. However, who is going to want to go snow tubing in the summer?
That's exactly my thing.
There's no snow.
There's no snow, and
they make fake snow, right?
But it's like that's not the same.
Yeah, I know. But like, you go to Whitetail, you have tubing, skiing, snowboarding. I love snowboarding.
That's like playing VR, and like
that's like
to
playing
get
a
your
sports video game.
Yeah, like to get your experience, because we don't have snow up here, and that takes away from, especially if you're a true outdoors person, that takes away from the experience of the whole snow tubing situation.
My mom did make a good point though. The snow tubing, I said the same thing you just said to her, and she was like, well, I think it's just for people that just want to go snow tubing and don't want to do and don't want to go do skiing or snowboarding, whatever.
I guess.
But
it's just gonna be weird if it's like you're sweating your behind off. It's 100 degrees outside and you're going snow tubing.
Tank top, shorts,
and then you're taking. I'm thinking of like being young. Like people, I feel like when we do like Fletcher made a good point last week. Like doing advertising and stuff, nobody's thinking from young people's point of view. It's always like, and that's where I've had challenges myself being a business owner, is that nobody like wants to listen because what do I know being 24 years old? And that's where we need to change things, because yeah, I may be 24 years old, but that doesn't mean I don't know anything or don't have an opinion that could possibly change something because I'm young, you know what I mean? So I just feel like
to get new ideas, you have to listen.
From like a child's, like if you're like, okay, so like us being young, social media is a big thing. Especially me, if you follow my private social media, I'm always in a camera. My face is always up and on social media. So that's what I want. But I'm thinking of like when I go out and I go places and I'm with my friends and I take pictures and selfies and stuff. Like how silly does it, or how odd does it look like you're in your snow tubing? You're like, hey, we're snow tubing, and it's 100 degrees outside. It's like, where? Like, you know what I mean? Like, where are you snow tubing at?
Bleep that out.
Yeah, sorry. No. Okay, we're done with that. We're gonna cut over to an interview. We're gonna cut over to that. Okay, guys, we are done with that. We're gonna cut over to an interview with DubVEatz, and we'll be right back. Hi, my name is Patricia, and I'm here with Jason, and this is an interview with Nick from DubVEatz. Nick, why don't you explain what you do, your business, your establishment, and start from there.
So we run a food delivery app. We also have a website, just DubVEatz.com, where the app is DubVEatz. We basically, it's a third-party delivery service like Uber Eats or Grubhub or DoorDash. Where you download the app, you would put your address in, pick what restaurant you want delivered, pick the items, put them in your cart, and then somebody comes and brings you your food.
Right.
What type of food can you deliver?
We deliver, everything from fast food. There's an Indian restaurant on there. There's barbecue. You got like your typical like Applebee's, IHOP's on there. There's like 35 or 36 different places on most given days that you can order from. A lot of local restaurants as well, like Alfredo's, which has kind of like a mix of foods. They actually have, I think, foods from like 4 or 5 different countries. Like they have Spanish food, they have like Middle Eastern food and stuff like that. So you can get just about everything. Like I said, most of your most common restaurants, McDonald's, Burger King,
right,
whatever you want.
Right. I always have to cut this out.
Chinese, Japanese, that's another one too. Yeah, I got those on there. Sushi. Yeah.
Are you guys open all week? Do you go, or is there a day that you guys are closed?
7 days a week.
7 days a week. Wow. Yeah, you can get Chinese takeout 7 days a week.
I'm the guy that runs it. I'm literally the guy that I'll be that's my car. I'll deliver in that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, 7 days a week, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Some days I close, depending here and there. I'm the one that runs it, so it's kind of up to me what I do. But at the end of the day, it just depends if I'm busy or not. What I got going on. I have side jobs that I do. I work on people's cars and stuff like that.
Right.
I'm a mechanic, and I do concrete work sometimes, occasionally when somebody hits me up for like a job. So I do all kinds of stuff depending on what I got going on, is depending on whether that's open or not. But
that's awesome, because
for the most part, that's my breadwinner.
We're such a small town that DoorDash kind of gets like backed up.
Yeah.
So I feel
we're
like
a great alternative.
Yeah.
People tend to use us. I've had people tell me that they ordered from DoorDash and then the order got canceled and they ordered from me, and then I'm like, why didn't you just pick me first? But whatever.
It's gonna save you the
hey,
problem.
Whatever. Yeah. Hey, whatever. I can't. We don't advertise to be the cheapest out there.
Right.
There are definitely like DoorDash. Their percentage of markup is like 7%, but when you have like tens of thousands of orders every day.
Wow.
You got to think they run in about, I think, 5,000. Last time I checked, it's been a while, but they run in about 5,000 U.S. cities. There's in the United States it might be even more now, but that was like pre-pandemic. After pandemic, delivery exploded, so they kind of probably grew a lot more.
Right.
But they there's only like 19 some thousand cities in the United States. Period. So they encompass about a quarter to half of that at least.
Right.
So when you figure if each of those cities, if they have 10,000 cities, let's say, if each of those cities get 10 orders a day, which is about our average here, maybe 10 orders a day, maybe a few more. I only got one driver myself, and maybe a few of my friends who drive here and there. She helps sometimes, so on and so forth. But, it's like, you know, if each city got like 10 orders a day, that's like 20,000 orders
Right, absolutely.
per day,
Right.
you know. And I mean, the profits that you can make off of 7% when you're making 20,000 orders a day, if each order is say $100 or $50 or $30 or something, that adds up, you know.
It does add up.
And so, you know, when we're just such a small company like that, we have to profit 25%
Absolutely.
one way or the other. That's like our minimum. And so either we try to work it out with the restaurants that we have contracts with, where we take money from them,
Right.
you know, and so that way we don't mark up the customer end as much, or like the big corporate places that's really hard to get contracts with as just a small local company.
Right.
We still put them on there. We have to buy the food up front, like
Yeah.
as if we were you going into like McDonald's.
Yeah.
We actually buy it up front and in the tip. So, you know, how do we make money?
Right.
We have to make money on marking up the food. So we mark it up 25%. And
Wow.
yeah, so that's how the company makes money. When we, you know, I mean, granted, right now I drive for myself, but I couldn't charge.
Yeah.
I have to charge like I'm driving as somebody else.
Yeah,
You know, like
right.
you know, in order for me to be able to hire other people.
Right.
And it does require me to have customers that order all the time. You know,
Right.
and so.
Do you have any discounts or promotions that'll be running on here soon?
Yeah, actually. Well, we have our new customer coupons. If you go on the app or the website for the first time, the website knows if it's your first time on the website or if you haven't ordered before.
Okay.
And it'll prompt you a coupon code for your first order.
Oh, okay.
You have to spend at least $35 in food because, you know, that the coupon is like for free delivery. And like I said, the driver gets the delivery fee.
You wouldn't want somebody to get a milkshake and then
Yeah,
they got
exactly.
free delivery.
You can't do that. It's got to be enough to where the profits that we make can cover what we have to pay the driver,
Right.
and then the company just doesn't make as much money when customers use that coupon, and that's fine. You know, we'd rather at least attract some new customers so they can see we are a legitimate service. We will bring you your food.
Right.
And I mean, you know, it's guaranteed. You know, as long as we do require customers to tip. It's not like you know, you can get away with not.
No,
I mean, you
just
know,
like with any service or delivery,
If
yeah.
it's like a cash thing, we like if we accept cash. So if a
Okay.
customer's paying cash, we'll generally assume like they'll be tipping cash if they don't
Right.
tip in the order. But you know, like certain things are red flags. Like if they're no contact delivery, they paid with card, no tip.
I see.
Are you going to tip?
Yeah.
Because how am I going to get it if you're in a no contact me?
Exactly.
You know, so I'll text the customer and ask like, are you putting it outside somewhere so I can let the driver know? You know, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, it's hard to say, but if people say that they won't tip, then we just won't bring their food.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately,
And we
as
actually-
a small company, we don't make enough profit to cover, you know, drivers making enough to use their wear and tear in
Right.
their car, their gas.
Right.
Stuff's
And
expensive these days.
that's funny you mentioned that, because our first podcast episode, we actually just had a controversial question where should servers be upset at no tip if their establishment doesn't pay enough, or should they be upset because, you know, you're expected to tip? And it's such a big one because I've been a server as well, so I completely understand the whole delivery, but then there's seriously people who just think it's okay just to not tip. So how do you feel about that?
You know, I've been back and forth on it, you know, and it depends on the scenario, because I think, you know, as a server, here's how I look at it. I mean, granted, you can come from anywhere and be a server. You could be driving 30 miles, 50 miles, and being a server somewhere. But you could also live right next door, and you could walk to work
Absolutely.
and have no overhead.
Yep.
And so that, I mean, yeah, granted, do I agree that they should pay $2.13 an hour? No, but I mean, I understand that if they paid a higher wage, they would have to raise prices, and it would be a lot more expensive. So tipping, you know, in those scenarios, I think should be optional because you don't have as much overhead as delivery.
Right.
You know, every time I start that car, I'm wasting gas.
Absolutely.
I'm using my tires.
Yep.
You know, I have engine problems all the time.
It doesn't
Luckily,
help that we have
I fix-
potholes everywhere.
Yeah, you know, I get nails in my tires
Yep.
all the time because I'm all up and down mountain roads that
Yeah.
aren't that great. I get flat tires all the time. I'm burning through tires. I mean, you wouldn't believe I go through about a set of tires every year.
And your car is probably more money than sometimes what you might get in a delivery sometimes. So it's really, really important that people, like, especially people who order from DubVEatz or DoorDash or anything, tip your drivers,
definitely.
tip the people who
Any
go
of
out
them.
and go
Any
above
of
and
them.
beyond.
I don't care if it's the other ones or not, but I think delivery should be tipped a higher percentage.
Absolutely.
And an absolute mandatory tip just because of the extra wear and tear. You know, people,
Right.
I get the serving, you know, we tip, obviously, you know, when we go out, but we won't tip as much as if I
Right.
would tip a delivery driver, because I understand that there is wear and tear behind being a delivery driver than just showing up to work. And then you can
Absolutely.
make $100 and you could have, like I said, lived next door or
Yep.
live right down the road, and you've barely spent any money to get to
Exactly.
work. And so, like, you don't really have a lot of overhead in that case. So
I had a family member that used to live behind the Domino's up here, and we would always joke about how terrible if they like delivered it. I was like, if you make them do that, you better tip good because you're right there.
Yeah, right.
But just if you could just give out some social media, your website, because we are running out of time.
Yeah,
but
you're
go
fine.
ahead and tell the camera and the audience your social media. If you have a Facebook, an Instagram, and a website, how can people contact you?
yeah, we do have a Facebook. Facebook.com/DubVEatz. Panhandle is the best way. We do have another one that's DubVEatz, but that contacts our Morgantown location, and it's not as active as we are out here. It's so this is the area to contact either the Panhandle. We also have a phone number that contacts my cell phone directly. It's 304-371-4004. Or you can go, like I said, to our app and place orders. We also have a chat box up in the top right corner of the app where you can chat with us. Sometimes it's not so active. Like I said, I am the driver.
Yeah.
So if I'm driving, that
Can't really
doesn't
get to
really
it.
have a great that thing doesn't really have a great notification system.
Yeah.
So I won't often get the notification if I'm driving around. So it's best to either call the number that 4004 number,
Right.
or contact us through Facebook like you guys did to contact through us.
I feel like the Facebook Messenger, especially if you're trying to get a hold of you, was a lot quicker.
Yeah, it's very easy to contact us. The phone number is a good way too. I can text off that number too, because like I
Okay.
said, it's like a separate line on my cell phone.
Right.
My phone has two numbers to it basically.
Right.
So it's just it's through GoDaddy, but
That's
it's a separate
nice
app.
though, because
Yeah.
you can separate your personal life and your business.
Yeah. It's through GoDaddy actually. That's just how we register our websites and all that other
Oh,
stuff.
okay, I
and all
see.
that
So you were
shit,
able to get a business phone number.
Yeah,
Okay.
through GoDaddy, and so it just separates it, and it's through an app that GoDaddy has, where so I get it's called Smart Line. So
That's
I get,
awesome.
Yeah, it pops up on my phone that I'm getting a call from my Smart Line.
That's
and
pretty cool.
Tells me that it's my business call.
Is there anything else you would like us to know, the audience to know, the people who watch our podcast to know? Or do you want to end it off here?
No, I think the most important thing of it all is just to support local. I don't
Absolutely.
think people realize how much that it benefits your local economy. I live here. Where does Tony Zhu live? He's the CEO of DoorDash.
Yeah.
He doesn't live here. He
Yeah.
doesn't give a shit about what happens here in
Right.
this area. The money that I make, I spend here 90% of the time. I love going out locally and supporting local restaurants. I already support them with my business.
Right.
I'm sometimes depositing hundreds of dollars every 2 weeks into their accounts. So, I love supporting local businesses, and I think it's probably the most important thing that people don't realize. There was a town in South Carolina that Walmart left, and the pharmacy saw more business, the local pharmacy. I mean, they couldn't do as cheap prices, but they saw a huge increase in businesses.
Right.
The local grocers saw a huge increase in businesses.
Yep.
So when you stop supporting corporations and you support
Local businesses, yeah.
the money stays local and the corporations fall to their knees.
Absolutely.
Which is the way it should be.
The biggest thing that we were talking about, and then I think you were going to say something, but the biggest thing we were talking about at the last podcast is that we want to see the streets full again.
Yeah.
And people like out here shopping small and shopping locally and going to local small businesses and delivery included, because we have all these big stores like Marshall's and Walmart and stuff like that, on top of not really having much down here as is, it takes away from the smaller businesses, people who are trying to make a name for themselves. And it's hard being a small business owner, myself included, because it comes all out of pocket. You're funding the whole thing yourself.
Yeah,
and
it's really hard to get bank funding or private funding like angel investors or anything like that. I mean, even for something like that, I have a whole app and I can't even get angel investors or banks to be interested, because there's a lot of competition out there, and they're like, oh, well, where are you different?
A bank loan, a lot of people think that if you have a small business, you just automatically have all the money in the world because you have a business, and it's like, no, I broke because I have a business.
Yeah. I'm constantly struggling. Like I said, I'm always fixing my car. I just totaled my last car like a week ago, less than a week ago, and I had to buy another one. That comes out of my pocket.
It's a struggle.
So it's like, it is a struggle, and I agree that to like you said, to see the streets filled again with local businesses, I think towns need to make it easier on local businesses too. I know that a lot of these places that actually have a storefront really struggle.
Absolutely.
And I'm thankful enough that I don't actually have a storefront. I'm an online business, so it's all
I kind of wish we were an online business. The deeper we go, I'm like, dang.
Yeah, it's real nice because my overhead is my house.
Right.
And, she has a job too, obviously. So
and you save all the money on like the physical building aspect. You get to keep all of that.
I don't have the overhead of buying the food either that goes to waste.
Absolutely.
And stuff like that. But I did want to add something to what you said, where even supporting locally, but even if it's that, the good part about DubVEatz or and really any of the delivery services that have the local restaurants on there, when you order through them, you are by in part supporting that local business still, because I am paying that restaurant in the long run one way or another, whether it's upfront or whether I have a contract with them and I direct deposit into their account every 2 weeks. One way or another, you are still supporting that restaurant by supporting us.
Absolutely.
It's
kind of supporting small business twice in a way.
Yeah,
supporting you and
you're supporting
it's a
more.
win-win.
Yeah, you're supporting more small businesses by adding an extra set of hands in there.
Right.
And when you don't feel like going out, I get it. Not everybody orders all the time. I run into my own customers in town all the time, getting food and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We just sit there and chat like it's normal.
That's awesome.
No big deal or anything.
That's what
if
I
you
like
wanna
to
go get
hear.
your own food, but if you don't feel like it, we're here.
Right. And Jace, did you have anything that you wanted to add, or?
Okay. What is your favorite local restaurant here?
Oh, that's great.
That's actually a tough one. There's a lot. I could probably give you like a top 3, honestly. I really like Mountaineer Meat Smokers out in Martinsburg. They have some of the best barbecue food around here. They don't put barbecue sauce on it, but they have tons of sauces you can pick from, that's for sure.
That's awesome.
It's all just smoked meat. So it's, smoked, and then you put your sauce on it. And it's amazing.
That's good because I'm a picky eater, and I'm like one of those people that don't like sauce.
they're amazing. But their smoked meats are really good. We have them on there as well. I love Alfredo's. We go there quite often. And then
If you had to pick one more,
Betty's in Shepherdstown for a good breakfast.
I do like Betty's.
Some of the best breakfast.
Somebody took me there one time just to do business stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know they were here. They're really good.
Me and my parents discovered them years ago when we first moved here, and we've gone. I introduced her to them. She loved going there. Them warm strawberry waffles, man.
That's my favorite. I get that every time I go there.
Now, question: are the waffles better than Waffle House waffles?
Yeah.
All right. That was it.
It blows them out of the water.
You guys put down in the comments down below if you think Waffle House waffles are better, or if you have tried Betty's waffles. Let's hope it's Betty's because it's a local restaurant. You heard it from Nick from DubVEatz himself. I'm Patricia, and I'm here with Jason and Emily's behind the camera, and this is another episode of Capel and Cast. We are back. The next thing we're going to be talking about is the different kinds of customers and people up here, which is going to lead me to another story time. That is tea. So get your popcorn, get your cups, and get ready and buckle on up because I got a lot to tell you. But first, I want to talk about the different types of people up here in this area. So from my experience of having a business and working around in different jobs in the local area, we definitely draw a specific crowd of people. Now, it's not everybody, but there is a very distinguished crowd of people up here. I used to work at a hotel, and I'm not going to name the name because we're not going to give shade to anything, but I used to work at a hotel, and sometimes working in that hotel, I would have people come in that felt so entitled and so privileged to their customer service because they're a platinum member or whatever the case may be, and it's like, bro, this is not the Hilton. This is, X, Y, and Z. I'm not going to give the name. But the point of the matter is that, you have certain people that come in and treat you a certain way and then expect top-notch customer service because they're living and breathing the same. Yeah, they're entitled. They're just breathing the same air as you, so I'm supposed to stop what I'm doing to do that. And I've had people do the same thing for me as a business owner. Another example is some of the people who do services through my business, and I'm going to put a very specific category on this, and if the shoe fits, then wear it. But we have some dance moms that cause issues within my establishment, and you know what blows my mind about this is that they sit there and they'll pay for the service, and then they'll talk or speak bad about me in front of their kids, and then it brings a hostile work environment for
Honestly,
me.
it doesn't matter who's around her though.
We're in a hostile work environment because it's just like I can't do my job, and it blows my mind because when people start taking services from me, like I don't know everything. I'm not a big business. We're not a big business. However, Emily can vouch. The first thing I always tell people, especially if you work here, is that we are new. We don't have a lot of things that most businesses should, and for the longest time we didn't even have a lot of furniture, and thank goodness for the dance moms and the volunteers, the people that did go above and beyond and donate and get us the stuff that we needed for our studio, because without them we wouldn't have had it. However, we just have had, you know, people who, like, okay, here's a good one, Starbound for example. Emily, why don't you explain from a third-party point of view how you felt going on that trip and all of the chaos that came along with the trip just because of the type of people that came with us?
Damn,
Go on.
that's a long one.
Where's the waiting?
And whatever the drama that was happening, definitely did put a damper on things, because it's not just an experience for the kids, it's for everyone, including Trisha.
Yeah.
And it just definitely, you know.
It kind of sucks because, like, I guess what we're trying to say is that, like, to give a little backstory about Jason.
God
To
bless
give a little backstory about the trip is that we spoke a little bit about this last podcast, but nobody, like I keep saying, Starbound. Starbound is a huge national talent competition. The show Dance Moms, if you know that show, Abby Lee Miller and her studio, they have been on there. That's the best way to, like, explain it, how big it is, because they're so well known. They're huge.
She was on TV.
Yeah, we were on TV, and it just blows. Actually, it even showed you helping me with the chairs on TV and the video. Yes, it did.
No, it didn't.
It didn't. They cut you off.
Yeah.
Damn.
I was so excited.
You're like, you just see me drop these chairs.
I'm like, man, what the heck is
Damn, that sucks. Anyways, yeah. So it's just this big thing to the point that it was live. Do you need a cup of water?
No, I might.
Okay. Wait. It's such a big competition that we had.
Sorry.
Jason!
I'm trying to hold him in.
Just call
a piece of mucus went.
Okay. If you don't know about Starbound, it's a big national talent competition. In the show Dance Moms, you don't have to watch it, but there's a TV show that's really, really known for dancing, and her studio, which is based out of Pittsburgh, PA, went all the way to Starbound and actually won the competition. They give off scholarships, awards, they live stream it. Actually, we got to, Emily, myself, my kids, and the parents got to meet the choreographer who choreographed for Abby Lee Miller for one of the dances they did in the show. And we also got shouted out. We were on TV as well, so it was pretty big deal.
It was a big thing.
It was a huge deal. And the fact that we, you know, our small dance group that nobody really knows about in Charlestown, West Virginia, and was able to travel all the way to New Jersey was such a huge deal. And nobody knew, especially the parents, how much that meant to me. Now, to get into the situation a little bit, because it's a touchy subject, and I know they're going to see it. It is what it is, but it's just like they never really understood or asked me my point of view about anything. It was just kind of like just stepping over Trisha all the time, and I know that I don't want to like blame anybody or like throw shade, because I know it was all out of like trying to, or maybe it wasn't, but like I know they were just trying to be helpful, but there was a lot of stepping on my toes and not letting me do my job before we even left. So like dress rehearsal for one. Every time I would go to teach these kids, even months before, it was always, well, can I just throw in a suggestion really quick? Well, can I just throw in a suggestion? Well, let me say this, let me do that. And it drove me crazy, because I don't know what other dance studio allows the parents to sit there and speak over the director, over the teacher, or anything. And if you run the arts, you know what I'm talking about somebody overstepping you or trying to throw in an opinion, especially the day of something. It drives you crazy. So I had to deal with that on top of the constant like being talked about. And then I would have, and this isn't just like the parents that went to Starbound, but this is like parents leading to last year too, where things have happened, and then I have their kids coming to me saying, oh, well, I know this happened, or I know that happened, and this is an adult conversation. So it should not ever have to bring my students into this, which causes stress, because I have my students stressing out, not performing their best because their parents are in here stressing me out, and then everybody's just stressed. Now let's fast forward to the day before we leave. We had an issue with our uniform situation. And then another example, we had the parents, that's what I'm saying. The parents went behind my back, and instead of talking to me, they spent hundreds of dollars at Kohl's to go get matching jumpsuits.
But why? But why?
But why what?
Why did they do that?
Why did they go and get the matching? Oh, because the uniforms were delayed. They weren't coming in time. And then what I found out later is because they didn't like what I was getting the kids to wear.
Well, I think it's because we were talking about like that me and you were gonna do like a whole Adidas track.
And then they had the idea to go get Adidas.
But we didn't tell them to.
Yeah, nobody asked them to
It was
go.
just gonna be like our thing or something, as the
wearing Adidas jumpsuits, and then the kids were supposed to wear, because we handmade dance jackets to replace the dance jackets that didn't come in, and then we all were in mutual understanding and agreement that that when we came back, they would get their original uniform. Yes, it sucks, but everybody was okay with that. If you're into sports, stuff happens. However, they took it upon themselves to go behind my back and go get it, and that really upset me because you're stepping on my toes again, and nobody asked me if that was okay.
We were pretty confused.
But it looked great. They ended up they were the best looking group of kids that went there, and I was okay about that. But then that got thrown in my face later, and it's just like, it just blows my mind how you have these parents that sit here, or you have customers, you have people that will come to your establishment and like pay you money for a service and then sit here and try to dictate the service or try to order you around as a small business because I'm young, I'm small, I'm new, and I need them help. And it's like this whole you owe me something attitude, or I owe you something attitude that I just I'm over it. My trip got ruined because of how they were acting. Several times I had to tell them, like, we're not even about to compete and we're about to go home because of how bad it was, to the point that Emily actually almost left and went home from New Jersey before the trip was even over because she was so upset at how they were acting and how they treated her and how they treated her mom for no reason. And I know this is all just like a one-sided thing. You're only hearing it from us, you're not hearing it from them, but you have two individuals, including my boyfriend, who came all the way down to come see me, never met these parents before, ever, and even he had an opinion about this and talked to me and just thought that, their behavior was totally, like, unacceptable. So
I will definitely say that you should never treat people how these dance moms treat anyone, like,
it's
especially
crazy.
Trisha or myself, but, like, my mother.
Just in general, like, and that's not
like
even...
a stranger you don't even know and you want to, like...
I'm like, I got a question.
I'm waiting for them to finish.
Go for it.
Treat people how you want to be treated.
Absolutely.
We were taught that in first grade.
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all.
Seriously.
Unless it's funny.
Unless it's funny, yeah. No, but it blows my mind, and overall, I'm so grateful that I was able to go down to that competition, because at the end of the day, if my work doesn't speak for itself and what I did, and the fact that I was able to bring those kids from West Virginia, and not only did I bring those kids from West Virginia, the original competition we were supposed to go to for regionals got canceled. Mm-hmm. So I could have just ended the competition to begin with, but I did my job as a business owner, I did my job as a dance instructor, and did not want to let these kids down because I care about my job and care about these kids so much.
Plus they get to experience something like
They got to experience that, and that's what people don't understand. So if you guys do watch my podcast and, you were one of those moms that, I'm talking about, not even just the moms, because I have issues in the photography department and I've had issues, being a business owner the past 3 years, but in particular, I've been extremely bullied by dance moms, and I'm done. I'm tired of it. So this podcast is, my opinion. We open up, we talk about stuff. It's a safe space. We don't give out any names or anything, but this does need to be made aware because people just act a certain type of way and treat people a certain type of way up here.
And no matter how much we break our backs to get stuff
it's
done,
not good enough to certain people, and it blows my mind, and things just always get thrown back in my face for things that I never asked people to do. So it's just like, if
we just want to make it good for everyone.
Exactly, which is why things got changed when I found out I was moving and we're moving the studio. I was like, if you guys want to come back, it's you drop your kid off and that's it. Because of how much of a problem it was with having the parents in. I had a particular mom that would scream and would yell and do all this to the point that I had several people helping me behind the scenes that she didn't even know about or they didn't even know about. And they came to me and was like, look, Patricia, I can't do this. I can't, if you know you're gonna have this person here doing X, Y, and Z, and that's okay because they're paying you for a service, I can't be here to help you, and how does that make me look? If I have these crazy, and it's not even all of my moms, it's like 3 out of like the 20 moms that I have overall. And so it's just like, it's crazy. It blows my mind, and I don't know, same thing with like the place I worked at up here. One of the moms worked at the place I worked at up here, and then because things didn't go their way, or like her daughter fell when we were in the middle of like rehearsing right before the day before, her daughter fell because the kids were worried about going swimming instead of focused on the dance. I'm a professional dancer. I've been trained. I've worked for the state of Virginia through Parks and Recreation. I've worked for the state of PA. I'm cleared to teach kids in all 3 surrounding states surrounding West Virginia, on top of being a cleared child caretaker for the state of West Virginia as well. So I'm more than qualified. My resume is several pages long.
I've seen it.
So it just blows my mind that you have people that, you know, treat me like that, or act like I don't know what I'm talking about, or act like I'm not experienced, or I'm some kid that's doing this as a hobby, because I'm more than qualified. I may not have the resources, I may not have the people, and I may not have all of the connections, but I'm more than qualified to be doing what I'm doing. And for somebody to sit there and say, oh, well, you didn't properly train them the one time that they've fallen in 6 months because they're not focused the day before a huge national talent competition, it's like, it's a huge slap in the face. So if you're watching this, I hope you really do like hear what we're saying and not take this as like a, you know, oh, insult. We're just, an insult, or we're just saying one side story. But like, here, like, I love what I do. If I could teach for free, I would do it for free. But that's not paying my bills. That's not keeping the studio alive. That's not making it so I can teach these kids, which is why, like, I would give lunch, or I give rides, or go above and beyond. And, you know, it does hurt my feelings for, like, parents, or, you know, not all parents, but some parents to sit there and speak like that as if I didn't go above and beyond for each and every single one, or anyone. So, I just kind of wanted to talk on that a little bit, because it's kind of been bothering me for a little bit, and I just think it's important to know the type of people that are up here.
Yeah.
No matter where you go, you're always gonna have somebody that's gonna give you a hard time. No matter where you move your business to, you're always gonna have that one customer that just drives you insane. But it's just like, if you're watching this, take this in and soak it in. Be the person you want to be, act like the person you would want treating you the same way. Like, if you want to be treated like a piece of crap, then you act that way, by all means.
Okay, and I also want people to know that we really do go above and beyond and go out with a bang, you know. We make our what's it called? We make our events like really big, just so everyone can enjoy it.
Yeah, we don't just do anything small. Like, and Emily probably gets so like frustrated with me, because I'm always like, okay, Emily, hear me out. As soon as I say hear me out, she already knows it's gonna be something crazy. I have this tiny little idea, but this is what we can do to make it bigger. And it's never just this small thing. Like, when we first did 31 Days of Horror, it was probably the most craziest idea we could have possibly came up with. And sit here and try to do an escape room with no experience of how to run an escape room. Lack of training in escape room setups, but yet it worked out so well. We just had to do so much work. We turned an entire office into the woods, and it was awesome. And then last year we did a haunted school. So it's just like, obviously it's working when we had the same person. We had a client from the first time we did 31 Days of Horror that came to the next one and was excited and then said, I hope you guys are doing this again, because we would like to make this a yearly thing. And that's how we know events are working. But I don't know, it's just like, we do go above and beyond, and we do handcraft stuff, like our Capel and cast stuff. Like, we make a lot of our own stuff, so we don't have to go through other people, and it's a little bit cheaper on our end, but it's just, it takes hours, and sometimes days, sometimes weeks, and sometimes months to do these events for people, to go above and beyond for other people's kids. And it's just, sometimes it's not appreciated, and it, I don't know, just kind of hurts. But
I would be wearing a Capel and Cash shirt, but just, we had some little difficulties
because of last minute
but they are
on my part. But if you want to buy a Capel and Cash shirt, or you would like your own Capel and Cash,
we can make it.
click the link down below and we'll have a whole like pre-order thing where you guys can put in your orders and we will be happy to hand make it. All of the proceeds from the shirts will go to the podcast itself for new equipment, better stuff, more shirts to make. So your support means a lot to us, and yes, we are super small. This is a spin-off of Capel & Co. Productions. It's a little bit funnier, catches people's attention, but we still want to know that we appreciate your support and the fact that we have we went from 0 people on our page to we have 61 people now that are actively on our page, and then we almost hit 100 views on the video in less than 24 hours. So I know that's not a lot, especially if you're a big time person, but it's a lot to us because we're super small. So thank you so much for watching, because we could have had nobody. We could have had 3 people watch this podcast, and so it ended up being really great. Okay, we're gonna end it there, and we're gonna start our Dope as segment. Today on Dope as Fuck, we're gonna be doing trivia. Which is going to be super awesome because we're going to be going down the streets of Charlestown to see if you are smarter than a 5th grader.
Do you want money?
Do you want $1? Do you want $1? $1 more that's in your pocket? Come down to downtown Charlestown and we'll ask you a few questions next podcast.
Come right now.
If you get it wrong though, you don't get the $1 and you're just still broke. Then Jason is going to be talking about a pre-release for a Magic set, but we're going to actually start with that first. So Jason, why don't you take it over?
Are you bored every Friday or any day of the week? Because they have events every day at your hobby place by the Berkeley Plaza. It's right beside a really nice smoking barbecue shop where the guy with the food delivery service was talking about. He said it's one of his favorite places. He put it in his top 3. It's right beside there. They have events every couple days at Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Warhammer, you name it. If you need miniatures, dice, singles, packs, any kind of deck, anything. They got playmats, whatever you think that would work for the nerd hobbies is there. Books, even games that if you just want to try them out for the day. They got them. They have a place in the back where they have board games and tables set up where you can play. I've been down there a couple times, and this Friday, I believe it is.
February
3rd, right?
The pack's coming out, yeah.
February 3rd, there is a pre-release coming out for the new set. Phyrexia All will be one. It's got some cards that are pretty up.
We're just like, we're gonna have to leave that out.
But they got some cards in the new set that look pretty powerful and pretty good. But if you're interested in trying to get your hands on them a little bit quicker than they come out, pre-release February 3rd, your hobby place. It's $25 if you go beforehand and pay for it. But if it's the day of and you're going there, it's $30. But it is totally worth it. Your pre-release packs, you get 6 packs, 1 special card that has the date of the pre-release on it. I think it comes with 1 life spin down counter dice and a special box just for the pre-release. Check it out. Pretty fun. It's a couple hours long, but what else are you going to do on Friday?
Hey, just good job! Good job!
So if you're a nerd and you liked whatever you just said, go on down to...
Disclaimer, Jason's about to throw hands.
If you like cards and you want to have fun, check it out.
Check it out. You guys heard it from Jason himself, and we're going to go over to trivia. I'm Patricia, this is Amelia. We are back with Dope as We're doing a trivia segment. For $1, you're going to answer a question, and if you don't get it right, you don't get the $1, and if you do, you get the $1. And here we go. We're going to go into TT's Treats, and we're going to see if she can answer this question. Follow me. Okay, do you want to answer for $1? Okay, for $1, what is the smallest country in the world?
Hawaii.
Oh! Okay, thank you so much.
What are we doing? We're doing trivia.
Wait. Record me real quick. Stop filming!
Trisha, do you have any words? What are we doing?
We're gonna go do some trivia and hope we don't get kicked out, arrested, or frowned upon. So. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, for $1, what is the smallest country in the world?
Oh damn!
I'll give you 2 chances just because it's not busy out here.
You got options?
Yes, I can give you an option. I'll give you a choice. Hawaii. That's not a country? It's fine. It's my option. Hawaii. Okay. Charleston. Give me one more.
The Vatican?
Vatican or Italy.
I'll say the third one.
Vatican? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. There's your $1, sir. Thank you for playing.
Have a nice day.
Wait, do we have permission to use this video?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool, thanks.
I'm a content creator, so.
Oh, awesome,
Okay,
thank you.
The camera watching the camera.
Sir, for $1, do you want to answer trivia question?
This right here, all these
Wobble,
answers,
wobble, wobble.
that's how this city is feeling today. Because
Yeah.
people don't want to
Trivia questions.
Look at these neat history facts. Wah, wah. Patties were the baddies.
inside patties.
Me
I heard
either.
their stuff is really good.
I have never been inside.
You ready?
Yeah, it's zoomed in on your face.
Okay, why is it crooked though?
Cool action shot.
Okay. Okay, we are back with another trivia question. It took forever to find people, but we are here at Patty's and we have somebody, so here we go.
Up to you.
Thanks.
Okay, so what are the 3 states that matter? You got 15 seconds.
Gas. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, gas, liquid.
Come on, please, please. I want to give you this $1.
No, wait, gas.
More time.
Gas, liquid.
You got it. Okay, you get the $1 anyways. Thank you so much for playing. Okay, she did not get it right, but I gave her $1 anyways because why not? And we are desperate for people right now. So
Don't care! Come here!
sir, what? $1.
Sir.
$1.
Sir.
Answer a trivia question.
Answer this question.
Okay.
Hang on, he's looking.
Oh wait. I gotta ask a good one. Should I ask him the one that girl got wrong?
If you want, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you 2. What are the 3 states that matter?
Solid, liquid, and gas.
Oh yes. Okay,
Yeah.
one more question. You ready?
Okay.
Here we go. How many days are in a leap year? I can give you 4 multiple choice options.
Okay.
400, 532, 366, 275.
366.
Ah, that's what I'm talking about, my man. Look at thank you. All right, and that completes our segment of ready, dope. Thank you guys for watching so much. Thank you. Okay, and that completes another Capel Cast podcast episode, and we hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit the thumbs up button down below and subscribe and click the little notification button to stay up to date with all things to do with Capel Cast. Comment too, because we would like to hear what you guys thought of this episode, suggestions, and let us know what you guys want us to talk about in next week's episode. Stay tuned to find out who our special guest will be for next week. Until next time, bye!